Okay, this session is going to be entirely focused on day of usage of this tool. So if you're going to be inviting a subject matter expert, I always like to schedule an event for 15 or 20 minutes beforehand, walk them through the demo, etc. Or you can show them this video as well. So we're going to go down. We're actually going to go look for the event. So as we've been showing you, here's the always on demo for MDE. So on the right hand side here, you'll be able to actually go in and click on the webinar links. Okay, remember, here's all the campaigns. Now, you want to go click to the presenter tab. And in the presenter tab, this and only this URL is what you're going to want to share with anybody who's actually going to be presenting, either with a pre-recorded session or if you're doing it live day of. If you're going to have a subject matter expert answer the Q&As as they come in throughout the session, right? No other pure people. This is somebody that's coming in, going to talk, be on camera, be on mic, answer questions. So we're going to go ahead and send this out, put in invites, but we're actually going to go in and enter the event. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my information. We want to know who's coming in here to access this, right? And you're going to log in. Okay, so day of event. Everyone's going to be able to come in, and here's your first screen and what you see. So on the left-hand rail, you're going to see different things on the left-hand side here. You're going to see slide organizer. So just like you would in PowerPoint, if you want to rearrange slides, if you want to hide slides, you have the ability to actually click on the eye. Now you see it's hidden. We can unhide it. If I want to move the video, over here to this section, I have the ability to move that over to that area. Again, click and drag just as you would any other console. Content, this is the actual PowerPoint slide, and you'll see the videos that we had uploaded on there. If you want to add polls and or additional URLs, you have the ability to go ahead and do that. In addition, if for whatever reason the day of the event, I need to update one slide, you can go ahead and update one slide via this console and the presentation console as well, and actually upload the slide. And then once it'll shows it's converted, you'll be able to click and drag and go ahead and put it in. So that's that tab. The other left-hand rail, you're going to actually see presentation. This is actually, if you want to close this out, you can either close with an X or you can actually hit on the left-hand side. So the presentation screen is the one that's always up and running, okay? Team chat, this is great. Once you're in the session, if you want to communicate while the session's going live, this is your team chat functionality. You can say, hey, Bob, there is a question and can you answer, right? And this will only display between us individuals, and it'll actually turn red if somebody else sends you a chat or sends the group a team chat, right? To close out chat, you can go ahead and click on the X, okay? Start screen sharing. If you're going to actually do a screen share, this will actually open up in the media player window. The first time you ever use this platform, you need to make sure we actually set up a demo for you in advance, because you actually have to download a Google extension, right? So for those of you that are going to do a event with screen sharing, please let me know. You can only activate screen sharing and you'll see as if the actual event is going on. So this is why, before you run an event for the first time with one of your speakers, we actually want to just do a copy and run a test one so that they can just download the Google Chrome extension, okay? You want to see who's in the event. You can click on the attendees and you'll be able to see, like right now, nobody's in here. But if people were in there, you can even do a search. You can either search by name or you can search by company. So for example, if you want to see who's all here from CDW, you would be able to go by company and then hit refresh, and it would actually pull up. If you had 200 people in the audience, it would only pull up those that actually typed that in. So it's a cool little functionality. You can hit refresh throughout to be able to see real-time scenario who's actually in the events. As we scroll down on the left-hand side, you're going to see Q&A. Q&A, this is a great functionality. So all of us as presenters have the ability to see this. You can add folders. So for example, my suggestion is always, to be able to come in here and do answered questions, right? So once you answer the question, you can actually click and drag. Or let's just pick on Bob. Bob, please, Bob questions, right? If there's a specific question and you want to move it over and you're the moderator, and you want to move it over to one of your subject matter experts, you can create folders. So for example, if I hit, I'm just going to make a question up. So I'm going to say, who's asking? And I'm going to say, Chris, where are you, Pierce? I'm going to say, what color is the sky? And I'm going to go ahead and add. Now you'll see how on the left-hand side, the Q&A box turned red. That means because somebody actually answered a question. And you'll see in the inbox, you can, if I close the inbox, it's still red over here. I'm going to click Q&A. Oh, there's a question. Now, all of us as presenters, whoever's in here, will have the ability to go answer this question. So to answer the question, you're actually going to hover your mouse over to that individual's name. So go hover over Chris, click on it, and you're going to see, hey, what color is the sky? Now, you get an edit window. You can say it is purple today, right? And now here's the big thing that you get to do. You can either send it back to that individual. Great, you send it back to Chris directly. If you hit send to all, it's going to populate the question. It won't show that Chris from Pure asked the question, but if it's a great question and it's related to something that you think a lot of people, whether partners or customers, would want to get an update on, it'll just publish the question along with the answer. It won't say who it came from. So if you're worried about other customers seeing who else is in the session, that never happens, right? That's the beauty of this. You're not going to be able to go in and see, oh my goodness, there's 95 people on the WebEx and I can go see who all the other individuals are. So you can hit send, right? And it's just going to go back to Chris. You'll see that red dot went away because it was answered. Now, if you want to file this, right, you can go back, you can see this question. All you have to do is click and drag and move over to answer question, and your Q&A box is automatically gone. So let's close off our Q&A. And, lastly, if for whatever reason you want to look up some Q&A questions through the process, you can go ahead and do that there. Now, before we even connect with our phone and or our computer, you'll see when you're in this event, just like you would in any other platform or PowerPoint, you would hit next, and you can actually move the different slides. If there were slide builds, which I don't think I have any slide builds, on the bottom right-hand side of the screen right here, you would see animation 1 of 3, 2 of 3, when you hit the next one, 3 of 3, and it'll do your builds. Now, please note this, for presenters, if there are 4 of you on the line, and the person who up here, where it says take control of this presentation, if you have builds, only the person taking control will be able to see the builds build out. Okay, and the reason being is because if you have 2 or 3 people that are going to be presenting during an event, the other person wants to go jump around and see their slides, it won't mess up the live day experience. Okay, so that's the one gotcha, just to keep that in mind, is if there are builds and the person that's in control, you have to take control, by the way, in order to actually, so you'll see I'm in control now. So if it was a live event, I have the ability to actually go in and do it, right? And so just a heads up on there, okay? So that's how it goes. So if I want to go back to the first slide, we go here. Now let's show how to connect. So the day of the event, you can either connect by phone. So if you want to dial into a computer-generated audio bridge, you can do that. Through all the 15 or 20 events we've done this year, I've actually just connected via the computer. And guys, you can either use the mics that are built in. They sound great. We just did an event today. Let me see if I have it up here still. Here it is. We did an event earlier today where Jason and Andrew both had their own mics, and you can kind of see if both of them have their camera on, you'll see how you can select, hey, what camera in the system you want to use and what mics, right? So just giving you a heads up there. So let's go back to the day of. So the day of event, everyone's going to come over and we're going to go, I'm going to select computer, right? And because this event, and I set this up, by the way, as a pre-record live event, so this gives us the ability to edit it, etc. I'm going to use my camera. So you're going to go ahead and click camera. It's going to say, hey, do you want to broadcast your camera to the audience? I'm going to say yes. And on the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to start seeing my picture. Now, depending on the bandwidth of where you're at, especially in this time where a lot of us are working from home, etc., your replication of using the video here to my actual movements, there might be a little delay here. Okay, that's to be expected with all platforms. Okay, just because of the latency and bandwidth, because we're commuting or promoting the video here, it's going up to the cloud and then it's sending back to this session right here. So just be well aware that your audience experience is going to be very clean, and I can show you an example of the event we did earlier this week. Went smooth, and we actually had 2 individuals. So this session that I showed you, if I jump back to the other screen, this session actually had 2 of them recording live with their cameras on. And if we actually go ahead and play,
I'm very careful here at times.
You'll hear the bannering going back and forth, and they were playing off of each other.
So, you're not your customer today, you're on something.
So anyways, they both were going back and forth and having a great banter and conversation. Okay. So I'm in control of this presentation here. All right. So now we're going here. Whoops, I'm in the wrong session. Sorry, guys. Let me jump back to this one. Hang on one second. I'm having a little quick time challenge. All right, here we go. So we're back. All right, so now you're seeing up here the blue bars up on the top right hand. That shows you that, hey, your audio is working great. Okay, so before we even start, we're all in the session. It's 20 or 30 minutes beforehand. I always like to make sure that the audio is working, the video is working. Now, if for whatever reason we're having bandwidth challenges, you just want to drop to an audio, from a simplicity standpoint, you can just move over with your mouse. On the left-hand side, you're going to see mute camera, mute audio. On the next one to the right, you're going to be able to see view presenters on the next one. And then you'll actually be able to go settings where you can actually choose your different microphones or cameras. So if you have two cameras, you have a built-in one on your MacBook, and then you have a different third-party one, you can actually go select the device you want and do everything. If for whatever reason during a session you drop off or need to refresh, you can actually just hang up with this red button, rejoin right away, instantaneously using the computer, and you're good to go. So if I want to mute my camera, so for example, if I'm doing an introduction to this webinar and I kick it off and I'm on camera and I'm talking, say, hey, welcome everybody to this event. This is great. I'm going to turn it over to Bob, our subject matter expert. I can actually go ahead then and say mute my camera, and you're going to see, boom, now we're not pushing any video feed, right? Because I was the only one in this, and we're only launching, and now we're still using audio, but in the screen itself, when the audience is seeing it, they're just going to see, this W here instead. If you have 3 people on and 3 people's cameras are going and ready to go, you will see 3 images. We actually did an event with the New York Yankees, a professional Major League Baseball team, the other day, where it was myself, Brian Cashman, general manager, and then Brian Schwartz, our vice president of products. The 3 of us were on. I was asking questions. When I was done doing my part, I muted my camera and went off. In addition, if your subject matter expert's talking, you want to mute your mic, again, all you have to do is hit mute mic, right? So now I am muted going out, but if I want to turn my mic back on, you simply click it and I'm unmuted and going forward again. Now, you'll see we set to, this is going to go what's called a pre-recorded live. So I actually changed our session to be a pre-recorded live, which means we can go ahead with our subject matter experts, record the session, and actually trim it, edit it. So like at the beginning, if we stumble, you don't have to start and re-record. You could, but we'll just say, okay, hey, let's just note that was at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. There's editing software where we can just go transfer and cut out the first 3 minutes and 30 seconds and go live from this point on, okay? In addition, at the end, you have trimming software at the end. So again, the person that's in control has the ability to show what slides and or videos that your audience is seeing, okay? So that's very important. So if you have 3 people that are going to present or 2, that person that's going to talk next needs to ask for control, and all you have to do is hit the you're in control button or the take control button up on top. So how do we start this session and what does it look like? So we're ready to go. So I want to do a pre-recorded live, or let's just say this is May 1st at 8 a.m. This is when we're going to go live. Your audience is coming in and we're going to start this, right? And so we have the ability, I'm just going to leave my web camera off right now, but we're going to be able to go in and we're going to hit record. So I'm going to go in, I'm hitting record. You're going to see a countdown clock very soon. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited you're able to join our session today. We got a great marketing update. I'm going off of what's on my slide here. So glad you're here. So now I have the ability, I'm going to forward my slide. So my next slide is actually going to be excuse me, guys, a video. So I'm going to go ahead and play you guys a video on Accelerate, and you'll see it automatically muted my audio. So we're broadcasting a video out to all of our audience, but the cool thing is you'll see it mutes your audio. So I can't talk over this in the actual real live event, which is pretty cool. By the way, if you want to see who else is in here from a presenter standpoint while this video is still running, you have the ability, I'm going to turn Nicole down a little bit. You have the ability to actually view presenters, and you can actually, if someone's talking in the background, you can actually mute their camera or unmute them as a host as well, just as an FYI. So Nicole's still going, and you'll see there's 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now we're back live here. In 1 second, you'll see my audio automatically turn back on, and I can actually go in and then hit to the next slide. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about the cough. Hit to the next slide, and we're good to go. So we're going to talk about sales bites here as an example, right? Now we have the ability, if this was a live event, to monitor and do the questions online. We can say at the very end, hey, now at this time we'll take any live Q&A. So go ahead and please, in the chat window, in the Q&A box, please address your questions, and we'll be able to address this at that time. If it's a pre-recorded, so this session, for example, is pre-recorded, we can actually stop and end this recording, right? So you'll see, I only want this webinar to be 1 minute and whatever change, right? So we're gonna go ahead up to the top, and I'm actually gonna go over and I'm gonna hit the end button. It's gonna say, hey, are you sure you wanna end the session, right? Yes, I'm sure, okay? So now this session is actually gonna end. You're gonna see, hey, it's live stream. It's set for live streaming on May 1st, but we recorded on April 15th, and it's 1 minute and 58 seconds long. So pretty cool, right? So that's the session, right? And you'll see it's scheduled to, anybody that register, when they go log in on May 1st at 8 a.m. in the morning, boom, this video is automatically gonna pop up, okay? Hey, if you want to go in and listen and see what it's like, you can actually go up to the top right here and click on view recordings, right? And so you can actually go in, you can take a look and check out the video. You can actually go in and hit edit, and you're going to be able to see, all right, cool, I can go hit play.
3, 2, 1.
And
right?
You hear me doing the countdown. Now there's no video because I turned my camera off, but if my camera was on, you'd see myself going. And let's say, for example, I messed up at the beginning, and when the audience goes live on May 1st, I want to cut out the first 4 seconds. So we're going to start so instead of being 1 minute 58 seconds long, I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to take out the first 4 seconds, and then you know what? I want to edit it, and I want to take out, because I listened to it, I'm going to take out the last 4 seconds. Then I can go ahead and hit trim, and guess what? Boom, it automatically updates. So now on May 1st, when the session goes live, it's done. It's edited. It's down to 1 minute and 50 seconds here. So great. It trimmed it. We're good to go. We can close out of that. And then what will happen is when the actual event starts on May 1st, even though we pre-recorded, this is the beauty of it. If you don't like the recording, you can go back and go record again, or you can do the editing like I just saw. But the day of the event, to the customer and your partners, it's going to look like you guys are live in studio and you're presenting this. All along, you can be on the beach and answer questions via Q&A here, right? Or the day of the event, instead of saying record again, it's going to say, hey, enable live Q&A. And what that's going to be able to do, it's going to reopen the audio and video bridge. So when we did our event today, so for example, in this image you're seeing, this is Jason and Andrew, last night when we were recording this at 7 p.m. at night. Well, right with 5 seconds left, we enabled live Q&A, and guess what? They put on the same shirt that they wore in the video in the pre-recorded, and they actually were able to take questions, say, hey, Jason, we got a couple questions that came across regarding snapshots and Flashblade, etc., right? And so we were able to do a live bantering session, even though we pre-recorded it, whether it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, the night before. But to the end user audience, it looks like it's live. So you can actually put together a polished event. So this is actually, what the actual event looked like. And so you'll see if I fast forward here all the way to the end, let's see if I can, my big fingers can mouse over here. At the very end of this session, you'll see that Jason's gonna, Andrew's gonna end the session. And he'll actually go back and start getting some question here, at the very end. So anyways, it's kind of cool. It's a great functionality because it gives you the ability to go ahead and put together a polish. So again, when you're in a session, you have the ability again to, turn your mic on, turn your camera on, turn your camera off, mute your mic, monitor. The 3 things on the left-hand side you're mostly going to use is team chat. You're going to be able to want to go see who the attendees are and be able to close off on that. And then obviously to monitor Q&A. So with that, that's the overview on the day of. Always up to, if it's like your first time, if you guys need some additional help, there's a ton of online material as well. But hopefully this helps you guys all out. Thanks.